thinking. Okay, now we're live. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Happy 4th, 5th, 7th week of fantasy football. I'll try and keep this one short today. We're just looking again at some more market stuff. Fedora's got some noise in the background, so he's muted for right now, but he'll be back in the cuts in a little bit. Jason's getting ready for his fantasy football. We got the Seahawks coming in at 1 o'clock.
One, baby.
That's right. Real quick, Jason is pointing this out. Final Fantasy number 16, the RPG starter set. Obviously, you guys all know that me and Jason are huge Final Fantasy fans. This might add to our repertoire of games you are. Oh, $60, dude. That is not bad. Are you getting this, dude?
For a full-on tabletop, yeah.
Yeah. I'm only bummed though because there's no characters.
Maybe you get to create your own. You can do the little painting and all that stuff.
I'm down with that.
Cool.
Fedora,
or you just buy your own and do that anyways.
Yeah, seriously. Fedora's still some noise going on. It sounds like back in New York. We will do a giveaway later on. If we get enough people, I'll throw a slab in there. Good morning, everyone. Comics Embrace. Thanks for coming through. Michael Baker, what up? KO and Kingdom of Nerds, what's going on? And Commander Cody, first to market, as I like to say. So anyway, and Jason also showed me this Chainsaw Man on Hulu. I've read part of the anime book, but I've actually never I've never seen the show before. But I will definitely check it out.
I just started watching.
I read the first few volumes.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I feel like it is what it is. It's like a demon slaying shonen battle. It's in the name, Chainsaw Man. So I can see why people are into it. I thought it was like a solid 7.5. So my biggest gripe was that it started out with a really interesting premise, like this homeless kid killing demons for some mysterious mafia type organization. And then I was like, mysterious father, how does that play a role? And demon mafia group, okay, that sounds cool. And then it kind of just gets sidelined by the ending of the first episode, or the first midway through the first volume. So I'm like, okay. But I thought it was all right. I just think the guy that writes it, Fujimoto, I think he's really good at starting interesting premises, and then they kind of go nowhere, and then he just bridges it with another interesting premise that also goes nowhere. But if you like Chainsaw Man, Pickels, this will never be animated. He has a book called Fire Punch that I thought was better, just because it was I feel like it was a lot more original than Chainsaw Man, the character designs and stuff like that. So check out Fire Punch.
Well, I had never actually read the books before. I was just I'm getting near the end of rewatching Dragon Ball GT, and I was just kind of flipping through what they had on Hulu to see if there's anything that grabbed me, and I saw Chainsaw Man, and I was like, oh, so I wonder what that is, and then I started watching it.
Yeah, he's really good with the character designs, man. His character designs are sick. His art is sick. I think his stories are pretty solid. People were blowing it up like crazy, but I don't know if it's as crazy as a lot of my friends were making it out to be. They're like, yo, you read manga? You read Chainsaw Man? And I'm like, wow, I guess I gotta read this. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Well, because I was trying to decide, it was either between Chainsaw Man or A Certain Scientific Railgun were the two that I was deciding behind. And A Certain Scientific Railgun was 100 and something episodes versus 2 seasons. So I was like, all right.
Yeah. You made the right choice. But it looks sick. That character design looks sick.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Why wouldn't you watch that?
Yeah.
It has a lot of mainstream appeal though.
Yeah. No, it's just some, and Fedora, on past shows, you called out first appearances for this guy too. So
I did. I don't even remember.
See, you're that good. You just you're that good.
I don't even remember.
But yeah, good stuff, man. So let's get into the show. I know some people are eager to get back to their fantasy football. I do appreciate everyone coming through. But yeah, let's get into the show.
You gonna play the intro?
Oh, I just played the intro just now. Do you not see it? It's all good. Whatever.
I didn't see nothing.
It's all good. Let's see here. All right, so lately I've been digging. I've been, just digging into the market. Oh, 1 second. Oh shit, that's happened. Oh shit, hold on.
What's happening?
I don't know. Hold on a second. A second here. Okay. Present.
Okay, we're here.
What the fuck?
Maybe.
Hold on. What's going on here?
Technical difficulties. Pickles,
Technical
take it away.
If I see smoke coming up from your screen all of a sudden, we'll know something's up. It's like all of a sudden there's a small fire behind Fruity. Like, I don't know what's going on, man.
Can you guys see this now?
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I see like a loading screen.
You see it? Okay,
No.
The
there we
MCU
go.
booms to busts.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Or
I know
you
what's
cannot see it because
I think-
okay, all right. So lately I've been, I should say, I've been looking at the market, and yeah, definite false start, Michael Baker. Yeah, so we've been taking a look at the market, because of the economy. People don't have as much free money to spend. Interest rates are high, and so everything across the board's, pretty low. Either people are holding on their stuff because they bought it for $25. It's a 9.8, and it retailed for $2,000 in the pandemic, but now it's only worth $800. However, that's still a pretty big increase, from $25. Or people are just not taking into account reality, and that this comic's never going to come back from the dead.
Ultimate Fallout 4 125.
like that. So again, take the list with a grain of salt. However, if you do have some of these books, it's whatever you want to do with it. But I've looked at a lot of books that I spec'd on and kind of came to grips with, like, there's nothing that's going to make this come back. And I'm taking my losses. I'm taking losses on my taxes, all that stuff. So, I don't know if you guys saw the slides before this, but can you think of one book you guys are either sitting on, like, thank God I sold it when I did, because it's not coming back anytime soon? Jason, Pickles.
Anything that I still have?
Just like one in particular that just kind of like sees your, just like, oh my God, why did I sell that? Or like, thank God I did.
First Gore.
First Gore. All right, Fedora, what about you, man?
I don't really sell books. I don't think I've ever sold a book in my life. But one book that I bought that I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? Was Iron Fist 14 for $400.
Oh, the Sabretooth one, right?
Yeah, that was just like.
Well, I guess if we're talking like that, I've made considering like a lot of these books were, like you're saying, they were pandemic ones, and I didn't really get back into like collecting until like more towards the end of the pandemic. A lot of these books were already like way out of price for me when I first started getting back into it. But I did make some stupid purchases, like my Secret Wars 8 that I spent too much on.
I don't think that's a bad one. I didn't have
like
that
I can
one
maybe
on
break even on it.
Sure. Yeah, and that's okay, right? I mean, at that point, you just kind of have to like either say, hey, I don't want this book anymore, it makes me mad, or take the whatever. And oh wow, I didn't even think of that one. First Taskmaster got me. Damn, that gender swap. That Taskmaster villain was pretty cool. I didn't mind the gender swap stuff, but I did like the concept of him. What movie was that? I can't remember. Was that Black Widow?
Black Widow.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the gender swap stuff. I like usually I don't really mind the gender swap stuff as long as the essence of the character is still there. And I think that what bothered me the most is that we could have had like a really cool, like goofy female villain that's like funny, and like it would have been different to have like a really good female villain that was also like unorthodox and like, and then they just, I don't know, I felt like they just really dropped the ball with it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's weird. Like I tend to wonder like what goes on in their head when they do a like either gender swap or like just a complete, like, in her regard. I mean, even talk in the movie, she was just a badass ninja, which was cool, you know, but just kind of makes you think. But anyway, I don't have a huge list today. It's just a couple, but anyway, take it for what it's worth. I hope I don't break too many hearts here, but let's get on with it. So first, Star Wars 42. This was a fun one. I remember having multiple copies of this, which is so weird to say. Shit. Sorry guys, my internet's kind of sucking today. I remember having like, I remember seeing this in newsstand in 9.8 for like $4,000. You know, just kind of during the conception of Boba Fett having its own show. There was a lot of stuff going on with this book. I mean, you have Dengar and Boss on the cover as well. But I remember seeing this book go raw for like $800. I paid $950 for it, admittedly so. I got a 9.4 in, I think, a direct. And I think I sold it for about break even. And I was like, oh man, I'm like so depressed. And the show came out and freaking sucked. And oddly enough, this book's still holding up pretty high. Last time I saw a 9.8, I don't know if it was direct or newsstand. It was like 2,200, and that was like a month ago. So I think this has some potential to possibly get back to $4,000, like possibly, but it's you know, at a certain point people are going to come in, whether you're a Star Wars fan, whether you're a Boba Fett fan, and they're going to come in and scoop this book. Fedora, two questions for you. One, have you ever seen this come through in Midtown? Number two, newsstand or direct edition? What's your preference on this book?
All right, my opinion. This is a hot take. I feel like newsstands are scams. Like I don't understand why just because something has like a barcode on it that means it's worth more. And I know people in the chat are gonna be, oh, because you know this was black. I know what a newsstand is and how many percentages of them exist versus direct edition, but like I don't know, like newsstands to me are just like kind of like scammy. I don't know, but I have not seen Star Wars 42 at my shop. However, I did see the magazine one. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And we have that at the shop in Queens. So, I know. I think we have it in like a very fine for like $150 right now. So, I mean, if those of you in the Queens area want to check out the outlet in Astoria, it's there for $150. I think that's a bargain. I don't know, but I remember during the pandemic, I was gonna get this book for a friend because she's like a big Star Wars Boba Fett fan, Mandalorian fan specifically, and the book was like $400 and like not even like just in very good condition, or like a 4 or a 5, and it was like $400 or $500, and I'm like, what? So yeah, like those prices were ridiculous. But I think is it gonna go back to 4,000 in 9.8? Probably not, but it's gonna get pretty damn close because a lot of people really like Boba Fett.
Yeah,
so that's my opinion.
Love it. Jason, two questions for you. one, did you ever acquire this book during the end of the pandemic? And then two, did this book, if you did, or if you were seeking it after watching Boba Fett, was it like, oh my God, I don't care about this book anymore? You're like, I'd still get it.
No, I would still get this for sure.
Yeah.
I personally like, as far as like the newsstand versus direct, like I just like the barcode more. Like I don't understand like the pricing stuff unless it's like way more rare. I don't see what the difference is. For me, it's just an aesthetic thing. Like, especially like on Marvel books where they do instead of the barcode, it's like some weird doodle drawing or something like that. I'm just like, it just takes away from the book for me. But that's the only reason why I prefer newsstands if I'm grabbing them. But I don't own this. I would still own it, but that's just because I'm a big Boba Fett fan and always have been. So I actually, oddly, I don't own many older Star Wars books, if any, that I can think of right now currently, just because they're a little bit more than I would want to pay for them.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I have like a reprint of Star Wars 1, and it's just because I like the cover. But like when I was a kid, like I know Star Wars 1 came out like years before I was born, but like, or maybe it came out like, no, it's like a couple years after I was born. But like, yeah, I never like seeked out the comic books when like I was a kid. It didn't really bring nostalgia back to me, but I've always had Star Wars as like, I think if you like anything, nostalgic related, you have to like some portion of Star Wars. I mean, it's just part of like our Americana, if you will. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think Fedora's right. Like, this might be like, I don't think anything will push this up past like $4,000 unless,
they have a new season of the show coming out, don't they? Well, once the writer's strike is done and figured out and all that jazz.
Well, like, I mean, I just think that like the show didn't really push the needle on this book, and I think people bought this book because of that, like any other shows. But like for anticipation of a character that a lot of people were liking, or that had such a fan following, right? I just think this book just did not hit the mark, or the movie just didn't hit the mark enough to like be like, oh man, I remember when I watched Boba Fett, and like it made me want to like buy Boba Fett. I don't know, just my opinion. And I sold it when I like the first episode. I was like, sell.
Well, and the funny thing is too, in like the original trilogy movies where he was like kind of introduced and stuff like that, he wasn't even like a big character. Like he was like a side character at best. He just had crucial moments within the trilogy.
Right. Yeah. He even talk, which is so funny, right? But
yeah, like you could probably count his lines on your hands throughout the movies.
Yeah. I just, just an awesome character, but it is what it is. Right?
That's why I got my James Fett or Boba Bond tattoo on my calf.
Boba Fawn.
I can't decide whether to call him James Fett or Boba Bond, since it's a mashup of James Bond and Boba Fett. But
I like Boba Bond.
Yeah, James Fett sounds like it could be anybody. It's like, oh, that's my friend James Fett. Boba Bond is
that's two like iconic like B names like together.
Yeah.
I guess you could throw this in MCU, but I just remember like having this on my eye, like eyeballing this book for a long time because I said in past shows like I loved Null and I was collecting. But I remember like trying to find this in like high grade, right? Quote unquote. Trying to get 9.8. Is your cat like just acting a fool over there, Jason?
Yeah. Well, she usually gets fed at like 11, so this is like the time when she starts freaking being a ding dong.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try and make it short today.
No, you're good. She's just fucking being a bitch.
So talk about, speaking of newsstands, there's a newsstand that goes for pretty high in this book, which, whatever. However, I remember just the direct edition going for like 80. I remember offering 60 and getting denied on this book. Thank God I got denied on it, because this book, and I don't know if anyone's read the actual Thor God of Thunder series. I read 1 through 10. It's a pretty cool mythological type of read. But I would say that there's not really a huge like presence of Thor in the guts of this book. It's purely for if you're just a hardcore collector and you want Null, part of the, you just want that mention. Yeah, get it. I don't know if it was the cover's pretty cool. I think that's what I had going for it as well. But this book's now $30 near mint. 9.8s go for under $100, and 9.8s were going for like 3 to 5 during like even post pandemic. These guys were going for pretty high. But I'm gonna reverse the order here. Jason, do you have this book? And would you still buy it for $30?
I want to say I do have this or had it in a second print. I believe. Did it come in a second print with the blue on the bottom? It's like it's ringing true in my head. It might have been something else. If it was, I just sold it for like $30.
I don't know. Chat, is there a second print? I know there's a newsie, but I don't know if there's a second print. Okay, cool. I figured
they should figure out a way to bring this guy back, and then have Null take over his body and create like a fucking ultra villain.
Jeez, that's scary.
That could be cool. I would watch it.
Fedora, my dude, I'm not gonna ask if you've seen this in Midtown, but have you read this story and what'd you think of it? And you think this is like a Null appearance that's worth getting?
I think that it'll probably be a good book to buy depending on like what happens with Null, because I know Null is set to make another appearance soon in Death of the Venomverse. So if nobody's reading Death of the Venomverse, it's pretty interesting. Carnage is mopping everybody, and then Null was teased to come back. So if you're a big Null fan and you believe in the character, I believe in the character. So at $30, it's not a bad roll of the dice, honestly. If you could get like a near mint for $30, I think that'd be great. If you could get a newsstand of this book, that'd be even better, because I feel like Null is a character that's going to be here to stay. I just don't know, like, how well they'll utilize them remains to be seen. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. I would say the newsstand is, there's a little bit more like collectability, because obviously like newsstands back in 2011 when this book came out, I want to say, were very far and few between. I don't know, like the newsstand thing doesn't really do it for me like in the 80s and 90s books so much, but those 2010s, like, they're intriguing. But, it's hard to really justify times 10 on a newsstand versus a regular direct edition. I think it just really depends. Like I would never buy a newsstand to flip it or try and get like a high grade. I would get a newsstand because I really loved that book and just wanted the completionist of it. Does that make any sense? I don't know that it's a word, but all right, cool.
Sometimes like a newsstand, while they're cool, can ruin the cover. Like this one in particular, like I think if you throw a newsstand on that, it kind of takes away from the cover. But then there's a lot of books where it stands out and makes just it look a lot cleaner. Say like a ASM 300. Like I like the newsstand a lot better than I do that just straight direct cover with the weird Spider-Man.
Yeah, dude, I do too. I think that because like the one thing that newsstand does for me is that it brings the nostalgia of like seeing it like in a store when you're a kid. I think that's what really does it for me.
But like a cover like this, I just feel like if you throw a newsstand on there somewhere, unless it's on the back cover, it looks strange.
I have not thought of that, Jason.
There's a couple of like there's a Deadpool 1 with the wraparound cover. 90 whatever it is. That newsstand is on the back.
Oh, okay. He probably understood. He understood the assignment. That's what the kids say. Jason, I want to direct this one to you. Who can resurrect Null and do him justice after Kate's flushed him down the drain? I mean, as far as writing the character,
Zdarsky. That's the first person that jumps to mind. I think Chip Zdarsky could do a very good job with him, especially just because I don't know, everything he seems to touch, his Daredevil run, his like Howard the Duck run from
Batman.
2015 Batman, all of it is just so goddamn good. And he's so good at writing those darker stories, which I think plays to Null. But that's just somebody who jumps to mind right away. I'm sure there's plenty of other people that could do a very good job with it. Like hell, even like Rob Liefeld or Todd McFarlane, if you wanted to get them in on it, could do a really good job with the character. Granted, you're not going to get those guys probably to work on that project, but
no, I mean, like, you know, it's just open like talks or whatever, right? I have a counter for you, Jason. You ready for this? You son of a.
But
I don't. Oh no. Oh, sorry. I kind of Jeff Lemire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do like Jeff Lemire too.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
speaking of which, I got to get to the freaking store so I can get fish flies too. I forgot that came out.
When Jeff Lemire wrote Bloodshot, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Jeff Lemire Sentry run is up there with the first run of Sentry, in my opinion. But Al Ewing would be cool. That's cool. And Edwin with the call out. Yeah, I think you are correct, my friend. Thanks for coming through this morning. Again, we're doing a giveaway at the end. Everyone, I don't care how many is in the chat. We got 4 people in the chat. I'm still doing a giveaway because I love you all so much. I don't know if Jason, do you have this cover? But Thor: God of Thunder #2. This book just dropped, and I think when you're thinking of like, so going forward, people, when an amazing character has an amazing actor behind it for an okay movie, it doesn't do anything to the spec. So I want to caution people going forward, and you probably already know, like, even if you get like, I'm just gonna throw out, let's just say, I know he's been, gosh, let's just say fucking, I don't know. Don't hate on me, chat. Let's say Leonardo DiCaprio gets cast for an MCU character that is like dark or whatever.
I was gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay, right. Let's just say Leonardo DiCaprio gets like, I don't know. Let's say he gets cast for totally awesome Hulk. I know it's totally off, but let's just say
Ulysses Bloodstone.
Okay, yeah, Bloodstone, right? I mean, that's like an Academy Award-winning actor, like, you know, whatever. If the movie sucks or if the character dies, like 9 times out of 10, it's gonna drop in price. And that's exactly what happened here with Thor: God of Thunder. Obviously, I think we all know, like, it was kind of a double dose of goodness. First appearance of gore here. Also, you know, Christian Bale, who arguably is like one of the greatest method actors of our time, gets cast as him. I mean, that's a home run, right? Movie comes out, he gets, you know, spoiler alert, he dies in it. And I actually didn't mind the movie. Like, I thought it was okay. But, like, the market just said, fuck you. And this book dropped to like 20 to, I even saw for $15 for a first edition, for, you know, a regular old copy of it when it was going for like 50 to 100. The second prints were going for like 150. This bad boy was going for like 2,500 to 3K, and this was like post-pandemic. I think the only thing that has going for this, the only thing that's going for this particular book in particular, is the cover. That cover is sick. I think Opinion did it, right? Guys, Opinion?
Yes.
Or Rivik? I can't remember.
I know Rivik did a lot of the covers.
Yeah, he did.
It almost looks like it could be Alex Ross art too.
I mean, it's the cover. He's on Pegasus or some horse that looks like Pegasus.
That one and the first appearance of Black Winter is a really good cover.
Yeah. We should do a Black Winter FOC failure, or like, you know, FOC failure. We've done too many of those. Never mind.
I'm just ready for October to hit and get into the horror movie month.
Yeah, horror.
That thing was going for Black Winter was going for $300 in 9/8 when it first dropped.
Yeah, bro. Crazy stupid shit, man. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Fedora. Fedora, have you seen this book in the wild? And number 2, what do you think could bring this back to life? Or would you buy it for $30? 15 to 30? Not this, or sorry. This particular cover, would you buy for like 500 to 600 9.8?
I think the Marvel Now stuff. I don't see much Marvel Now stuff like first appearance of like. I know we have the On Point.
Yeah.
That's a wall book. I know it's like first appearance of Kamala Khan,
Yeah.
Riri Williams. I know that's the only Marvel Now book that I've seen we have. Like those don't come in too often. We don't even get any Marvel Now keys from like that era, which is really weird. I don't know if people are holding on to it. I don't know if we're not really focused on getting modern keys.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't buy this. I mean, there's no point. I mean, even I wouldn't even buy it even if I wanted to read it. I'd probably just get like the omnibus. But I don't know, man. Like I thought there was like a lot of potential for Gore, but you know, I don't. I wouldn't even get this book if it was $1. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, damn. Okay. Wow. All right. I was shocked. I was shocked there. Pickles, Jason, talk to me. Tell me all what you think.
I don't know if I would buy it for what it's priced at right now. I like the artwork on it. It's a cool looking cover, but that's about all I'd be buying it for. I like to look at it at this point.
I'm gonna kind of ask the chat. Please answer this too. I'm just curious because this is how I look at things, right? So, you know, I'll be honest, everyone, right? Like, obviously, we love comic books and we love the community and we love reading and stuff, but you know, money's money. So
I love all of y'all, everybody in the community.
Yeah, love it. Love you too, dog. But like, if you're quote unquote investing or trying to have the hobby pay for itself, but at some point it's like, okay, man, this book's never gonna come back to life, which is kind of the point of the show here. When do you look at a book and say, yeah, I just want to be done with it. I paid too much for it. I'm just gonna take a loss. Or like, no, I'm gonna be stubborn. I'm gonna wait till it to go back up. Or
that's me.
Okay. See, I'm the one that I just look at like 3 different things and I'm just like, this is never gonna come back to life. I'm just gonna take my losses and just move on because I didn't buy this book because I enjoyed it, and it's not worth enough for me to keep it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough equity, or I put too much equity into it, and I'm just like, I don't care about it anymore.
For sure.
Jason, what about you, man? Like, what goes through your decision process
for buying or holding on?
Like holding on or just like saying, fuck it, I just want to get rid of this book. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, what's your kind of like?
It depends. I mean, I guess I kind of hit that breaking point over the last week or so because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes of slabs over there and stuff that I just like
slabs. Oh my god!
That I just went through.
Yo, bro, you're wilding, bro. You're an animal, bro.
I just went through all those and
cried.
Got rid of listed a bunch of shit that I just was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. And
it's like I'm also starting to hit my breaking point with like trying to send stuff off grading because I have confidence in CGC's grading process is like down to nothing. It's like if I'm sending books in and you're giving me 9 6s with no goddamn graders notes to tell me why it's not a fucking 9 8,
bro.
Like that's bullshit. It's just like but it's like the problem is they're getting so it's exploding so much and they're getting so many books there now that they're like literally bringing people off the street that have no fucking clue about comic books and giving them a crash course over like 2 days and then sitting them down to grade your book like they actually know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's just like, dude, sorry, I just cussed a lot, didn't I?
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. We're 34 minutes in. It's
it's just like I'm tired of that. Like it's just like when you sent that Green Lantern 87 that I had, that super clean one. I set that one off. Like to me, granted, it didn't get a bad score. I got a 9.2 on that, which is fucking like phenomenal. But
yeah,
to me, when I looked at that book and like multiple other people had looked at it and were like, yeah, that's a 9.6 easy. And then I send it off and they send it back like, oh, it's got like creasing on it or this, that, or the other thing, like spine ticks. And I'm like, dude, there was nothing on that. Like Now, is it like you guys are damaging it during the fucking grading process because you don't like your people don't know how to handle them, or is it like was it actually that bad?
It's hard to say. Yeah, and I agree with you, dude. Like, you know what? Honestly, I think CGC overhired, and because their turnaround times for comics are like a week. So that tells me is like there's either too many graders or not enough submissions to like, unnormalize it, or they're prioritizing like the big retailers, which they should. I mean, like, I know a lot of people complain about, oh, like, why is this retailer that submits like 250 books a week getting, dude? I mean, obviously they're going to prioritize someone who's sending in like 500 books a week. But like my point is like, I think people are one, they're submitting less because books aren't going for as much, and two, like what was a 9.8 like 2 years ago is like a 9.4 now. And there's and like you said, and like you said, Jason, like they don't tell you why it's a 9.6 versus a 9.8.
Well, and especially because it's like, granted, I'm complaining about books that I'm not planning on selling anyways, like they're for my collection. So like take that into consideration. But it's like if I was monetarily relying on these books, and so like I got recently I got a shitload of 9.6s back. I got a New Mutants 98 9.6 back. I got a freaking what was the other one that was a big book? Hulk 340 9.6. No graders notes, but it's like if I'm trying to sell those, that's a difference of $1,000 in the book monetary.
Yeah, big time.
Because I can sell that 9.6 probably for $600-700 or so probably, but in a 9.8 I'd be getting 1,500 or something like that for it. Same with the Hulk. The Hulk 340 is about 1,400. I think I saw them going for, but like the 9.6, you'll be lucky to get 350 for it. It's like that's a fucking huge difference when you don't tell me what's wrong with the book.
Yeah.
So the same thing that's happening on the comic side. I've been on the forums, and CGC is kind of like the number 2 in grading Pokemon cards now. The Pokemon community have been like really into them, and like from the start, I've been saying things like, "Hey man, like you guys should really be careful with submitting with CGC because they fuck up." And then I get like -20 downvotes, and then I was keeping on like, "Yo guys, like just be vigilant when you're sending to CBC because I grade with comics," and I'm getting hit with like, "Oh, it's comics versus cards, it's different, yada yada yada." Fast forward to 2 years later, now everybody's complaining about CGC, like so it's like, dude, like you guys were like riding CGC's sack so hard for Pokemon, saying like, "Oh, it's going to be better than PSA. They're doing this, they're doing that." They changed their grading. They changed their grading. Qualifications for Pokemon cards. So now they don't even have the 9.5 scale. So they just go from 9 to 10, which people really like the 9.5 because they felt like it was more harsher grading. And the 10, when you did get a CGC 10, that meant more than a PSA 10. Because people were cross-grading 9.5s from CGC to PSA and getting the 10, the PSA 10. Yep. So I guess CGC wanted to stop that, and then they just changed their method.
That was dumb.
The way that they grade. So recently there was this big hoopla because this famous YouTuber, I guess I don't know if he's famous or not, but he's kind of popular on Reddit. Because they grade error cards. So he took a bunch of cards with scissors.
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then CGC mopped them. They're like, they banned him from like submitting and doing all this stuff. Instead of being like, "Hey guys, I really appreciate you catching this flaw, yada yada yada. We're gonna make sure our graders like know what's up. We're gonna like instead of being happy that somebody said, 'Hey man, you guys are grading things wrong,' they attacked the dude who found the exploit. So it's just like now I could just I could do what he did, and then like make fake error cards. And people pay big money for these error cards too. So it's not just like they're sending in like whatever. Like people could get scammed like that, and it's just going back full circle to the whole acetate gate where people were sending in counterfeit cards. I mean, not counterfeit comics, the counterfeit thing, to CGC, and they were grading it fucking 9.9. So there doesn't seem to be any cohesion in the Pokemon side or their TCG side to the comic side. I don't know. They're a mess. And I'm just salty because they gave my Wolverine a 9.6 when it was definitely a 9.8, and they won't tell me why.
All right. All right. Well, good stuff, everyone. That was sorry, I didn't mean to get off track there. We lost like 6
Nah,
people.
that was a rant.
Yeah, it was a rant, but it's all good. No, you're good, man. No, all good stuff. And again, I think the reason I just want to point that out is because I think we all have the same similar experiences with like grading and all that, and cats like Jason has right now. But but
Can't tell what the hell she's like. She's hunting something out the window, and she keeps like pacing back and forth. But usually that means there's a cat out there, and I don't see a tail.
oh, well, but kind of the point I wanted to make there was like, one, like for me, I'm like, I've stopped submitting stuff unless I just want it for my own personal like grail, just because it's too expensive, man, and it's not worth it to do it as much anymore. And I think that I think again, you're not what you're paying for. The product is not the quality, and the service isn't like reciprocated, in my opinion. So anyway, back to the market. Invincible Iron Man number 9, the Apocalypse variant. This was going for like 4Gs, 9.8. You know what's funny is like, okay, so again about education, right? I don't know what I don't even think this was like a ratio. This was like I wouldn't say it's made to order, but like I don't know the print runs. I don't know whatever, but like I remember seeing this book and being like, damn, I wouldn't mind paying 1,500 raw and getting 9.8 and flipping it for $4,000 without even looking at the census, without even looking at anything. Thankfully, I didn't do any of that. I remember, Jason, when we went to Comic-Con in Emerald City last year?
Yeah.
22. And remember I saw this and some dude had it for 600 and I was like, can I take a look at it? And he's like, sure. And there was like a pretty like sizable spine tick on it. And I was like, would you go down to 400? He's like, no, on my heart stop 600. This is going for like 900 raw. Thank fucking God I didn't buy that book, dude. Like, thank God.
Nobody bought that.
I almost did, dude. And then because I was gonna press it and flip it and get a 9.6 or whatever, but like, man, 9.8s are going for 800 to 900 bucks now. That's just okay. Go for it. I don't know if anyone's sitting on this book, but if you got this for $4,000, I'm so sorry. Like, that's all I can say. And yeah, Michael Baker, I think there's just zero excitement for Riri. I think the casting was like she was too old. Riri's a high school kid. They should have casted a 21-year-old. You know, no hate to the actress or whatnot, but like as far as like longevity of the character, you know, casting someone in their late 20s, I don't think is a really good idea if she's going to be the future of the MCU, quote unquote. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion when I looked at the casting of this, but man, like I remember selling the regular. I get a 9.8 for like 30 bucks, press it, sell for like 300. Like I think I did that 4 or 5 times, like honestly. The second print of this book was going for like 20 bucks. You could press that 9.8, get like $1.80 like all day. But this was the one to get at the pandemic height. I remember this was like always on a top 10 list. Shout out to Brian's crew and House of Stein. But yeah, like just a funny book, man. Like this was definitely like, I don't know, right on the wall. You could totally see the price. Fedora, hit me up. What's your thoughts on this book?
I mean, I don't think anything of the book, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just one of those pandemic books that people got excited about, and now there's construction in the background. But and
I
now
can't hear
it. But you can't hear it good. And now it's kind of like it's just a distant pandemic memory.
Mm-hmm. I would not buy this on like any dip or anything. It's just too risky. And I think a lot of people are definitely sitting on this book trying to get as much as they can, hoping that Riri Sears comes out. I just don't think anything coming out for Riri. It's just not gonna
like a Disney Plus show.
She is, man, and it's a different generation of people that are gonna hit on with this book. And I think you know what really hurt this book. I think the Black Panther movie was like it was a great movie. as far as respectfully to Chadwick, but I think there was just too much like it was a sad movie watching. It was sad watching the movie, and I think that sadness took away from Riri like character development. Right, the suit was actually pretty cool, in my opinion, but like I just think I remember just watching it like every time I watch it, I think of Chadwick. I don't think of Riri, and so right there it tells me like I'm not picking this book up. It's just too bad, but. Anyway, oh Jason, we were just saying like, yeah, like don't buy this book, but anyway.
Yeah, if I was buying it, it's just the cover's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and then all the press about all the press about how this is a second appearance and all that. I'm not even getting into that shit. Like, whatever. But yeah, New Avengers #6, first appearance of the Illuminati. I think I had the highest sale like ever for this book. I had this book in 9.8. The Super Bowl came out, commercial, and Fedora, you're on mute. And I listed it on Sunday. I got five.
I was wilding out.
I got 5 1/4 on this book, dude, in 9.8. I swear to God, it's the highest sale ever for this book. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with
Jay. On Super Bowl Sunday, right?
I listed it on Super Bowl Sunday, a 7-day auction. I set it for $1, and I sold it for 5 1/4.
Yo, that was you.
That was me. Yeah.
Nah, I saw that.
You did years ago, man. Yeah. I don't know if I feel kind of bad about that sale, but like I always let the market kind of like take over, man. I'll sell it for $1. I've taken losses too, so but yeah, I bought this book for like $8, dude, and sold it for. I mean, that was a flip of the century, right? So
whoever bought that book off of Ferd, stick your head in an oven.
unalive yourself.
Yeah, unalive yourself, bro. Because that's crazy that you would. People would bid for that, bro. People actually like, oh my god, the Illuminati, like this is gonna blow up, and then everybody like got mocked.
Yeah. I think you know what really pushed that. What really pushed that book?
Movie theater, and knowing you paid $500 for this book and watching everybody get mopped, and you're just watching your investment slowly die in the movie.
Oh my god! I might just rebuy it just to like kind of full circle, right? You could get this book for like under $60 in 9.8. Oh, kitty cat time!
Wait, you could get it for $60 in 9.8?
I saw one sell for $60, man, in 9.8.
Bro, you robbed that man. You robbed that. I know. Poor like.
I know. You know what's I think what really pushed this book honestly was Charles Xavier pushed this book. Because for me, I was like, that's cool, right? So I think that was the thought process, and then yeah, he Illuminati last on the screen less than a teenage boy. Yeah. Jason, dude, did you have this book or the variant with Sentry on it?
No, I do not. I did not.
You didn't fall into that whole gutter of crap?
No.
Yeah. I actually sold this dude, I can hear her purring.
Huh?
I can hear her purr.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, I actually might rebuy this at $60 just because I sold it for 5 1/4. But that's just me. I got jokes today. So New Avengers #40, the second print. I sold this for like $220 before the Secret
Invasion.
Secret Invasion came out. I thought like any book that's tied to a storyline just doesn't do it for me. But like I was like, shit, if I can get this for $10, or I think I paid $30 for it before it came out, like in March. Preston 298. And then 78 says share that bread. I'm doing a giveaway, so I guess that counts. This book, there was just too much risk with this book if you're buying it like for $40 and trying to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. Gaia, is it the name? Or I don't know if it's Gaia, but the Skrull Queen is essentially first appearance here.
Oh, Gaia.
Gaia, yeah. So there was like, speculation that Emily Clark or whatever her name is was going to play the Skrull Queen, right?
Game of Thrones, wasn't that what she was from?
Yeah, Game of Thrones chick. She did not play the Squirrel Queen, and so people got what Fedora says. I'm gonna use it mocked on this book. I use that correctly. I use it correctly. Is it good? Cool. I'm gonna use that today on some like one of my 15 or 16-year-old nephews or nieces, and they're gonna be like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!" But anyway,
that's the New York lingo, bro. They're not.
I love it.
From Seattle.
Some New Yorker over here is gonna be like, "What did you just say?" But yeah, bro, like, yeah, this was an unfortunate kind of swing for the fences here. Jason, did you ever have this book or the regular version at least?
No. These were all like books that were pre my collecting time.
Okay, because I bought this like last year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like serious. Or I think I sold it this past like January or February before the show came out. Anyway, Fedora, man, what do you think about this book, man? Like when it came out and all the spec was just going crazy for it.
You know, it's so crazy. I've never seen anybody talk about this book.
What?
And
really?
I follow all the spec people. So I don't know.
Which one?
This is the first time I've seen it.
New Avengers or My Little Pony?
My Little Pony. That's the flip of the century. If you could get this, go on eBay right now, buy it for $5, grade it, and hold on to it. You know,
I got this bitch for $5. I flipped it for 15.
Wait. Edwin Aguilar has a comment I forgot to bring up. Edwin, did you watch our show last week? Fedora, tell Edwin what to do with this book, or what to do with Tosin.
If you want to burn money, buy it. You just want to throw away your money. You just want to just take cash and literally light it on fire. Tosin is the book for you.
All right, you're here first, and then yeah, of course, My Little Pony. I mean, like, if you buy this for $5, you sell it for 10. That's 100% return on investment. That is better than a CD rate. I'm telling you, man. You just gotta do it.
Honestly, I would prefer My Little Pony spec over Tosin spec.
My god,
that's how dead that character is right now.
Oh my god.
Wow. I'm bullish on this on not buying Tosin. Like, don't even
wait. You're what? What are you doing?
I'm bullish. The third lingo. I'm bullish on not buying Tosin. Do not buy Tosin. Don't even think about him. Don't think about him. Because even if he does come back, he's got Mount Everest to climb before people even think of like investing in that book. So don't buy Tosin.
Okay.
He ain't coming to the MCU ever. I'm not gonna say ever, but it's highly unlikely. It's not impossible, but very improbable. So My Little Pony on that FOC list, first appearance of, I don't know what that pony is. That pony has a better chance of appearing in the cartoon than Tosin.
Oh shit! I think My Little Pony has a better chance of appearing in the MCU than Tosin.
Yes. There we go. So you buy that, take that $5, buy that My Little Pony, grade it, get that 9.9, and then there you go.
We're almost done here, folks. I want to appreciate all 14 for sticking with us, and again, we'll do a giveaway at the end. 78, what's going on, man? I miss you, dog. I'll see you this week though on OTR. So these two are kind of tough for me, and I really want your guys' opinion on these. But so Darth Maul, Cad Bane first appearance, currently 157 and 9.8, which I felt is a pretty okay kind of like midpoint for a fourth tier character that killed it on the big screen. Died, albeit, right? But could come back in his own series. There's rumors, but with the strike and all that, I probably wouldn't pay 157 for this book. But I just thought the fact that the market is paying 157, this was the lowest amount I saw. I feel like that's pretty healthy. Jason, what did you think of the show and Cad Bane as a character for future Star Wars properties appearing again?
I like Cad Bane as a character. Like, he was always one of those guys that when he popped up in Clone Wars and stuff like that, I always enjoyed him. I mean, he's what did I see somebody say? He's the spaghetti western version of fucking General Thrawn.
Yeah. I love it.
Or Grand Admiral Thrawn, I mean.
Yeah. Commander Cody says they ruined Cad Bane in live action. Yeah, they killed him off. That's how they ruined him, right? But I loved it, man. When he showed up, that was like the perfect scene. Like that was the episode of that show or that
where he
series,
just came
right?
walking in at the end of the episode.
So badass.
Oh, I was like, well, 'cause it was like a total like out of a Western movie where he just like wandered
fucking
in.
awesome.
And then they Donnie Cates them.
Yeah.
And then they Donnie Cates him. Yeah. Dude. They mopped him. They mopped him. I'll stop saying it. But Fedora, have you seen this in Midtown at all?
I bought that book, the Darth Maul book, off the rack when it first came out. Because I think that was the first Star Wars book I ever bought. Because I like Darth Maul. I grew up with I was Darth Maul for Halloween when I was a kid. So I was like, I'll buy that. And then I read it. I read the first few issues and I was like, this is mid.
Yeah.
And then for whatever the reason, it was going crazy on the secondary market and I didn't know why. And then it was like Cad Bane. And I'm like, who the hell is Cad Bane? Like, I'm not a Star Wars guy. Once you get into wars and stars and wars and tracks and what's this other one? Gates and Galacticas and Treks, like you lost me. So I did think that wow, it's noisy out here. I do like the cover. I do like the cover of Darth Maul. The art is sick. It displays really well, so I could understand why people are paying, nearly $200 for it in 9.8 because it's Cad Bane. People seem to like him. And the cover is sick. And I don't think that they printed that many of these. And it's a black cover, so I'm pretty sure
tough in 9.8
hard to come by.
Yeah, the paper's tough on this too.
It's I feel like it's worth getting because you don't know if Cad Bane is really dead because like in Star Wars nobody ever stays dead.
Yeah, and I think they could even do like a before he dies like show and it'd be like pretty successful. I got a lot of feedback from like friends that aren't Star Wars fans that were like that was a cool scene basically because of what Jason said. So I again, like I think the market is like, either they're buying this to keep it or they're like, damn, 150 doesn't seem like a bad price. I'll keep an eye on it for sure. To the right of me, the next comic, Darth Vader #3.
A lot of people like Dr. Aphra. Dr. Aphra, like when we get it, it always sells out. And there's a few Star Wars writers that come in to my shop, and then they're always trying to buy Dr. Aphra. So I know like everybody from like the writers, the fans, the enthusiasts, like I feel like people are like super into Dr. Aphra, and they've been like really, really big on Dr. Aphra for years. So I don't know if it's like I doubt that it's like a spec thing, but I just think that people really like the book and the character. So I think whatever is what the words are tiny. Like what's the high?
It was going. I sold one for $1,300 earlier this year. It's under 1,000 now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, people really love Dr. Aphra, and then when Star Wars fans come into the shop and they talk Star Wars, like 9 times out of 10, people are always like, man, like I hope Dr. Aphra comes into the universe. That'd be crazy, and that's a highly requested character. So, I mean, if you want to put your schlong out and pay the grand for Dr. Aphra because you believe in the character, I mean, it's on an epic comic book run. Or if you just want to, have like a low risk, high reward, you go Darth Maul because great cover. Darth Maul is a great character. You get the first appearance of Cad Bane, hard 9.8 book. So, I mean, either way, you're not losing. You might lose with Dr. Aphra if the show sucks. But, I mean, you're not. It's still good either way you go.
Jason, man, what are your thoughts on Darth Vader 3?
I actually really, this is actually one that's been on my watch list for a while. One that I've been just trying to find in a decent grade for a decent price, just because I like the cover.
I do too. I like the cover too, but it's a really good conceptual.
It harkens back to my childhood of watching these.
You know, the first Star Wars movie I saw was Empire Strikes Back, and I was so confused.
It's like me when somebody was like, what was that show, Lost? Did you ever remember that show on TV? Like all these people that work were like, dude, you don't watch Lost, you got to check it out. So I like caught a live episode when it was like airing.
Yeah.
And I came back, they're like, what'd you, I was like, yeah, so I watched that show. And they're like, so what'd you think? I'm like, dude, that was
Afro,
terrible.
by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, show's terrible.
Afro. Like, what
is she?
Do? Is she a doctor?
She's like the Indiana Jones of Star Wars.
So she's not a doctor.
I mean, she's like a doctor by like how Indiana Jones was a doctor.
Dr. Jones.
Like he took.
I've never seen Indiana Jones.
He's like an archaeologist doctor.
What? I'm just kidding. Whatever. It's all good. Oh. You see that? It's East Coast team.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Hello.
Yeah,
yep, I'm from the East Coast. I used to say Wally Mop. What's that? Oh, that's
Molly,
cool, man.
Molly Wop. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, we're about an hour in. We're almost done, folks. But again, I just want to say thanks for stopping in. And if you guys could do this, it'd be great. And great. The comments in the chat are awesome today, too, by the way.
The thing came on. Like the
little subscribe. You like that?
Yeah, you did it right this time.
Lost is not terrible, gets too much hate. If you got in, like, you know what's funny is I watched Lost like 7 years after it ended, and I didn't hate it. I just felt like you could tell that the actors did not want to be in Hawaii anymore after a certain amount of time. That's what killed it for me.
Which one was worse, Lost or The Sopranos?
Sopranos is good, man. 4 seasons of a show, and if it's good, I'll watch it. But like beyond 4 or 5, it's tough for me to watch it all.
Well, because I loved Lost, but my problem was I came in the middle of it, so it was like they were like, "You should watch a show, watch it," and I was like, "I don't get it."
What did you say, Fedora?
Which ending was worse, Sopranos or Lost?
Lost. It just didn't end.
Lost is terrible.
Lost just should have ended, man. Like it should have ended the season before, in my opinion. I'm getting really mad. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was so bad. I remember watching that and just being like, because like the whole time you were trying to figure out the smoke monster, and it was around the whole like sea, and then it's just like done. I'm like, that was so bad.
And it was like it could have ended like 5 episodes prior to it ending. The greatest ending show of all time, in my opinion, so far, is Ted Lasso's last episode. Perfect ending to a series ever.
I think Sopranos ended amazingly, even though people were crying.
Yeah, no, it was a good ending to that too. Kind of left questions unanswered, but fuck it, man. Just answer the damn questions for me. That's what
they did. He got mocked.
I don't know. I still think he survived. That's my opinion. Okay, so Eternals #1. I remember when I hated this movie. I did not like it. But now looking back on it, I think I would pick this up as a collector of the MCU, like whatever verse. This is going for $350 to $450, 9.8. I know back in the day it was going for like 1,000, but that's pretty healthy for a 9.8. Probably has to do with it being an older book, possibly a newsstand. I couldn't tell if it was a newsstand or not. But Jason, do you have this book?
I don't. The Eternals one, no.
Okay. Fedora, have you seen this in Midtown? And
we got the first appearance of Adam Warlock. We do not have the first Eternals, but I think how much is the first appearance of Adam Warlock? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that book in a long time.
Yeah, but we have it.
Fantastic
It's probably like $950 and $9.4. That's the last time I saw it, which is I think is a great price for like it may not go up in price, but it's a great first appearance for sure.
Because we have like a very fine for like 700. So I don't know if that's like
that's a little expensive in my opinion. Yeah.
Probably.
Vengeance 1, the variant editions now 1,000 of 1,400, which I thought was really odd. However, a 9.6 goes for like 350 to 400. I got killed on this book, man. I bought this in 9.4 for $900. I pressed it, got a 9.6. Thought I was gonna make my money. I ended up selling it for $6. I just don't feel like America Chavez is going to have a really good. It's just going to take too long for her to get any headway. However, this cover is amazing. Diodato like kills it on this cover, but yeah, I don't think it's going to. I wouldn't pay 709.8 for this book.
Wait, who's the artist of that?
Diodato, Mike Diodato. Yeah, he's a mid artist. No, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Anyway, Jason, do you have this book? You have the regular one, right?
I've got the regular with Magneto on the cover, and I have this one.
Are you gonna hold? Do you think? I mean, are you gonna hold these, or just gonna mop yourself?
I'm holding them right now just because I didn't get the grades out of them that I wanted. I may try to crack and resubmit just to get a better grade out of them for in case. I don't think they're dead. I still think with the multiverse coming into play, I think America Chavez is going to have a big role in that, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because of her abilities. But I mean, it'll kind of she might pop into Loki. You never know.
Yeah, she could.
Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what time frame Loki is supposed to continue on from, if it's supposed to pick up right where season 1 left off, or if it's like down the road past all the stuff we've already watched. So
yeah, I just the reason I sold it, and I just don't have any the reason I sold it is because I paid too much money for it. And I just wanted to cut my losses and run.
That's kind of where I'm at too. It's like I think I bought a set.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
It's like I bought this and number 1 plus like one newsstand of plus 3 other books or something like that. It wasn't like the full run of them, but it was like $900 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which wasn't bad, but
it wasn't bad. I was and this is just kind of food for thought. Like, I just looked at my collection. I was just like, what can I get like pretty good money for? Where I'd have to sit like today versus sitting on it hoping like 4 years from now, like to get break even. I was like, okay, if a comic book sits in that category and I paid this much for it, I'm just gonna list it. Like, I don't even care. Michael Baker with the worst ending ever. My God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they had the homie in the wheelchair sit on the throne. That was crazy. I don't even watch Game of Thrones, and that shit didn't even make sense.
That's what I was gonna say. I never watched Game of Thrones, so I don't know.
He can't even stand up straight, and you're gonna give him the throne? Like, that's
the mind. He had the mind. He had the mind, though. He had the mind. I don't know.
Who cares about the mind if you can't even stand up? Like, listen, I know the strike is going on, but it's stuff like that just be making me think like, yo, bro, like.
No good. This is my last slide today. I want to thank everyone for coming through. Appreciate your support during Football Sunday. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell all your friends. I'll do a giveaway in a little bit. But before we get into the giveaway, first characters from last year and previous years. Captain Carter. I've never liked this book. I did sell it for like ×2 when I had it initially, but I just knew this character was not like the way it's being pushed by, people or whoever. I just never agreed with it. Teach his own. Big fucking deal if she's gonna have her own series. Like, she's a tier 4 character that you're paying tier 1 prices for at the time. Since then, you could get this at 9.8 for like $80, and this was selling for $450 to $500 mid 2022 when you guys should have known that the market was going down. Anyway, that's either here or there. I remember that Captain Carter #1 was flipping for cover to like 20.
Everybody was pushing that book.
Yeah. Commander Corey thinks she has a cool costume. I agree. Yeah, a lot of people are pushing this book. It was a 1 in 25 animation. The cover is actually pretty cool and clean, but you know, like it
But
is,
that's
like
not
it is.
even the real. That's not even the real one.
Right, right.
The
So
Exiles, right?
Exiles 3, right? And there's an argument, right, that she's named Captain Carter here and in the MCU. My point was the MCU spec is done. That was my point. Exiles 3, if you're really going to go after the character, that's her first appearance. That was just kind of the point I was trying to make. And the market's saying the same exact thing that I was saying. Everyone was going
25 is crazy on
yeah,
the Exiles.
for $80 and a 9.8, like you got to
Get
be
the fuck
fucking
out of here.
yeah, a 9.8 in the Exiles 3 variant, which is the same ratio, goes for like 500 to 800 still post pandemic. So anyway, Jason, you never got into any of these Captain Carter nonsense, did you?
Not the Captain Carters. No, I got that. I have that free comic book day Judgment Day one. I got a couple copies of that.
Yeah. And then
But
also
I didn't pay crazy amounts for them or nothing.
Yeah, you got it free. I'm hoping, right?
Pretty much. I think I paid like $250.
Yeah, or like you got in a giveaway or some shit. Yeah, and that Bloodstone #1 was. I mean, I'll be honest. Like I was actually pretty bullish on it as well, but then I learned my lesson. Like daughters or granddaughters or grandsons or sons, they take a lot of time to get going, and Elsa ain't even come out yet. You know, so that was just kind of a tough one to really hold on to. I got rid of those books. I think I have one.
You still have your Elsa Bloodstone?
The original Bloodstone #1? No, I checked those a long time ago. I checked them in January. Yeah, I sold them a long time ago.
I want one just because I like the art and
the story is great for a readership. I liked it, man. Oh no, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
That's just simply a cover buy for me.
Oh, okay. Well, each his own. It was very provocative that series, but yeah. Did you get any of these books, or did you say fuck it, like it's bullshit, like spec?
Nah, I mean, I knew, like during the pandemic, I knew like because I'm into multiple collecting hobbies like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh, sneakers, comics. So I saw a trend going that transcended not only comics but cards and stuff like that. So I already knew like a lot of this stuff is not making any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna buy anything until I figure out what's going on. So then, so like I wasn't buying anything that wasn't cover price. But I knew Captain Carter was like BS. It was like, who cares about some what if show that's probably not even gonna make it past 2 seasons?
Yeah. And when you like at that point when people were still like pushing MCU spec, I just knew it was bullshit, So all right, I'm gonna start putting people in the giveaway now. We got Michael Baker in there. I just said type in giveaway in the chat if you could.
Yesterday I sold at the shop. I sold the ASM 35 for $60.
Damn.
I know, right? There was like, what's so crazy is there was like a bunch of like tourists there, and there was one regular. And I was talking to like the regular, like, yeah, man, like we've been getting decent prices on our new wall books. Take a look at this. And I showed him the ASM 35. And he was like, wow, man, that's a Steve Ditko cover. And we were talking about it. And then everybody was like listening to our conversation. And then he's like, let me walk around and then let me think about it. And then a dude, as soon as he walked away, a dude came up and he was just like, that's ASM 35. And I was like, yeah. He's like, for $60? And I was like, yeah. And he was just like, can I buy that? And I'm like, yeah. And then he bought it right there. So,
wow.
It's, so if you're in the New York area, we got some deals. We got some great deals. A lot of the prices are reflecting of the market. We got Aquaman #11, first appearance of Amber Heard for $250. We got first appearance of Ghost Rider. Not first appearance of Ghost Rider, the first solo issue of Ghost Rider for like $275. It's a little bit in rough shape, but it's Ghost Rider. So we got some good stuff. So if you ever want to stop by, pick something up if you're in the area. Yeah.
Dope, man. There's your plug right there. I knew so I am giving away the Sickness #1 second print with some other books. That's what's in the giveaway today. So
You know, I saw The Sickness when it first came out, and then I took it off the shelf, and then I walked up to like the cash register, and I was like, this is just another zombie book. Let me just put it back. I don't really care about it too much.
it's not even really a zombie book.
And
It's like a weird, creepy book, it was too like much. I was like, it's so close for money.
Why is
That's why I'm
everybody
giving it
going
away.
crazy
But
for it?
I think it's just a different like take on just read it. I read it. It's a lot of dialogue. That's why I was just like, I'll do a giveaway for it. It goes for like I think 10 to 15. I threw in some other like key books for like comics. What?
No one talked about it. I'm just confused because usually when books get hot, even indies, people in the shop talk about it, right? So
yeah.
I haven't heard anyone bring that book up, which is an anomaly because I feel like at least someone would be like, hey, have you read this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we get hundreds of customers, not hundreds, but we get about 100 people come in a day. I speak to maybe a few hundred people throughout the course of 3 days, and no one's said anything about it, which is really weird. I know people said something about it after the fact, like after it kind of caught fire, but at that point, like it doesn't even really matter because you're just buying it because of the hype. But prior to it coming out, like during like the first week or two, no one said, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. I'm not saying it's being whatever. It's just weird. Moving on.
No worries, man. Let's get this giveaway going so we can get Jason to watch the loser Seahawks and loser.
No, I was looking at they just released the new AP poll for college football, and the Huskies jumped up to number 7, and they hopped Oregon and USC.
Oh, where are my
but
Cougs at?
Cougs bumped up from 21 to 16.
Bias, man. East Coast bias. All right, let's get this going. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming through. I'm just kidding, Jace.
Like they're doing pretty good compared like to what everybody thought they were going to do.
All right, I got to take a shower. My wife's going to kill me.
They're only like 4 spots away from jumping Alabama right now. Alabama's at 12.
Who's Michael Giveaway? Who did I Michael Baker, my bad. All right.
Michael Giveaway.
Michael Baker, your new nickname is Michael Giveaway. All right, well, that's our show today, fellas. Thanks for coming through and helping me out with the show. I hope you guys got some education out of this book, out of the show today. Yeah, we've all taken some losses, and I just kind of want to give an update of the market and where we're at, and just kind of get people's opinions. We got Fedora on the ground floor. He's boots on the ground. You guys don't know what that means. And then we got Pickels, my dude. Thanks for coming back. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Mr. Baker, hit me up in my DMs. Just remind me to send that off. I'll get it off to you tomorrow. And that's our show. That's our show. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Yo, see ya.